Hey everyone, it's Mark Ferguson with Invest for More, and welcome to another one of our real estate investing videos. Today I'm talking about my plan to buy 100 rental properties, which was a plan I actually made in 2013 when I first started my blog, Invest for More. I had some rentals at the time, but I really wanted to motivate myself and get myself to the next level, so I made this plan. So we're going to talk about this plan, why I made it, how it went, where I'm at right now today, and then I'll also talk about some of the first rentals I bought, how I got started in rentals too, to show you how that plan evolved. Now, this plan is completely written out as well on investformore.com, so you can go there, search for it, just search for 100 rental properties, or just search Google for 100 rental properties and Invest for More, or I'll have it linked below in this description as well. So check that out. Also, please like our videos. We love that. It helps us. We love the comments and the subscribers too. So thank you for all of you who do that and support us. All right, my plan to buy 100 rentals started in 2013, but my real estate investing career started way before that. I actually got my real estate license in 2002 after graduating from the University of Colorado with a finance degree. I was working with my dad, and we would do house flips once in a while. After a certain amount of time, I got into REOs and foreclosures and selling properties for banks. So that did very well for a while. I was making good money, and I thought, how can I invest my money in a smart way? So I researched stocks, bonds, businesses, franchises, all kinds of different things, and I kept coming back to real estate as being the best investment. Now, this was 2008 to 2009, that time period, and ironically, the housing market had crashed, and most real estate agents and people I knew told me rentals were a horrible investment, I'd lose all my money, don't do it. So it wasn't very encouraging to hear that from other people in my field, but I knew that was what I wanted to do. So how did I buy my very first rental? Well, I bought a personal house. Oh, my markers, it's doing okay. I bought a personal house in 2009 for, it's like $210,000. It was an amazing deal. It was a foreclosure, and it was probably worth $270 to $290 as soon as we bought it. So I bought it for $210, just had gotten married to my wife, and we ended up pulling $50,000 in a cash out refinance. And that happened in 2009 as well. So buying a personal house made me $50,000 tax-free pretty much right away. So I took that $50,000 and I bought my first rental in 2010. Paid $97,000 for it. It rented for $1,050 a month. It needed almost no work. We spent like a couple $1,000s on the repairs. That was scary, right? My wife was actually pregnant at the time when when I bought that house. And there's never a perfect time, but that was probably the least perfect time. But she supported me, ended up buying it. And I'm like, man, is this a really good investment? Everyone's telling me not to do it. Should I really go through with it? I bought it. It turned out to be a great deal, an amazing deal. And I have a video that goes over this too, my first rental property, that goes over the numbers and details. But basically, I ended up selling that for $275,000 last year in 2019. 1031 exchanged it into a $600,000 commercial property. So that property made me money every month as long as I owned it. I think at the end, the rent was $1,500. And then we made tons of money tax-free because we used a 1031 exchange. I have a video on that too if you're interested in that. But that one property kind of set me off into, man, I've got to buy more and more properties. So I think I bought, in 2011, I bought one. In 2012, I think I bought two. In 2013, I bought three, something like that. And I thought, wow, this is cool. Wow, that really went back in time there. How do I keep buying more and more properties? And around 2013 is when I bought my dad out, took over his business, started Invest for More of the blog, and really got into self-help, goal setting, motivating myself. And that's when I said, hey, let's make a crazy, ridiculous goal. Let's make a goal to buy 100 rental properties. That was based on how I was buying properties at that time. At that time, my typical property was $100,000. I rented it for $1,200 to $1,400, and I was putting $15,000 to $30,000 into repairs. So we were making great money, and I was buying distressed properties, estate sales, foreclosures, short sales that had a ton of equity. So as soon as we put that money into them, they're worth $150,000 to $170,000. That's why I wanted to keep buying more and more and more and more rental properties, because I was building equity with each purchase. I was making $400 to $500 a month after all the expenses and the mortgage. I was putting 20% down on just about all of these. And I was making money from selling foreclosures, HUD homes, and I would refinance these properties once in a while too. So after a couple of years, I could refinance this property, take a $130,000 loan out or something like that, and then all of a sudden I had $30,000 to $40,000 in cash back to repeat it, buy another property. So I'm like, how can I buy many more rentals? I did the math. I wrote out all these sheets in hand on my plans, and I actually show those on Instagram once in a while if you guys want to see them, at InvestorMore on Instagram. And I kept coming up with, realistically, I could buy 30 rentals in 10 years. That was at my current pace. That was buying 3 a year, which I knew I could probably do. However, with all my self-help, goal setting, motivational stuff, it's like, well, you don't want to sell yourself short and do what you know you can do. You want to push yourself and do more. So I thought, let's multiply it by 3, something like that. We'll do 100 rentals. And when I did that, I wrote out the whole plan. And you can see that I still have that article up, and I've updated it over the years. But I wrote out each year, I'd buy 4 in my first year. Then I'd buy 6, something like that. Then I'd buy 8. Then I'd buy 10. Then I'd buy 12. And just keep going up. And then I figured out, okay, do I refinance properties? How am I getting the money to figure out these properties? How is all this going to work? Because that's a big goal. That's a crazy goal. So what did I actually end up doing? Well, from 2010 to 2015, I bought 16 rentals. Way below what my plans were. My plan said I should have had something like 25 rentals at that point, something like that. Because I already had 7 when I made this plan, and according to my schedule, I need to keep buying more and more each year. So what happened? Why did this plan, I want to say fall apart, but why did I get here, and why was I so short? And then I actually stopped in 2015 buying. What happened? Well, the housing crash allowed me to buy a lot of cheap rentals. The housing gain after that allowed me to not be able to buy cheap rentals anymore. Prices skyrocketed. We're in Greeley, Colorado, and those houses that I was paying, $100,000 for, putting $15,000 of work into, and renting for $1,200 or something like that. Now, those properties were costing me $180,000. I was putting $25,000 of work into them, and they're renting for like $1,400. So you can see the rent to value ratios shrunk in a massive way. Prices went up, and rents went up too, but just not nearly as much as prices did. So you could still buy properties with equity. You could still get good deals, but the cash flow wasn't there. You were barely making any money on cash flow, if any. And whenever I buy rentals, I want to make money on cash flow. That's one of my main goals. I always think of appreciation as a bonus, but I want it to make money every month. So I stopped buying. I stopped buying in 2016, didn't buy anything. I took trips to Florida, researched all kinds of different markets to see where else I could buy rentals. I even found a really cool place in Florida that I liked. But it's tricky, right? I'm a real estate agent, so my license doesn't work down there. I don't have a lender down there. I had to find an agent, had to do all kinds of stuff. And I got to a point where I was getting close, and then something crazy happened. I found a commercial property locally where I am that was for sale for, I think it was $105,000, something like that. And I knew that could rent for $1,500 a month with almost no work. Now, those aren't around all the time. They're not always available. But I'm like, wow, those numbers are really close to my residential numbers. Can I switch to commercial? And that's what I did. So this goal kind of went away just because I couldn't find enough deals to make it make sense. And instead I started buying commercial properties. So I ended up buying 11 commercial properties from 2017 to now, 2020. And those range from 900 square feet to 68,000 square feet. So if you're buying a 68,000 square foot property, it doesn't really make sense to have a 100 property goal, because you can have a 900 square foot property or a 68,000 square foot property and they're counted the same. So that's why I scrapped my 100 rental property goal. I'm still so glad I made it. It was so much fun. It got me a lot of marketing attention too, but it didn't work anymore. So this last year, I'm like, well, what can I do? It was so neat making that goal. It was so much fun, and it really helped me. I decided to make a new goal. So what was my new goal? A million square feet of rentals. That's inside space. Someone said, oh, that's easy. Just buy a few acres and you're there. No, not outside land, but inside square footage. So that is a much more, not attainable, but much easier to understand when I'm buying commercial property with so much square footage. And so then I wrote out, and I have this article on my blog too, year 1, 50,000 square feet, year 2, 55,000 square feet, year 3, 70,000 square feet. I wrote it all out on how much square feet I'd have to buy each year to reach that goal. Right now, I have 147,000 square feet. Well, that's not the right one. So we're at right there. So it's doable. It'll take a lot of work, but I think we can do it. So I've switched goals. It's gone from 100 rental properties to 1 million square feet. And some people say, man, that's a crazy, weird goal. How do you know you're cash flowing? How do you know they're good properties? And that's just something I have to always do, is always know I'm going to invest in good properties. I'm going to buy good properties. I'm going to buy cash flowing properties. I'm going to buy properties with lots of equity. That's just something I want to do. And that goal sounds cool. It gets me excited. It's easy to see how I'm doing along the way, and that's why I really love that goal. All right, so that is all I've got for this video. We went from 100 rental properties that were residential, single family, to 1 million square feet of rental properties that are commercial, ranging from 900 square feet to 68,000 square feet. So things have changed. We have adapted to the market. There's always opportunities in real estate. You just kind of have to be willing to look for them and look in different places. All right, thanks for watching. Hope you guys appreciate it. Again, investormore.com has a ton more information. I'll link to both of those articles and some other videos as well. If you have any questions, leave them below. Any comments, we love to see them too. And of course, hit that like button. We'll be back soon.